I wanted to turn and run, but my legs felt as heavy as if they were filled with lead. The paralyzing agent took effect with frightening speed. Hasty, I watched my stumbling steps, not stopping me, just standing there, a faint smile playing on his lips. The smile was slight, but it chilled me to the bone. Immediately after, a line of yellow text floated by in the air. Don't waste your energy. That dose is strong enough to floor you. This house is under surveillance everywhere. Where do you think you can run? See the band Midas ate on his hand? He did that to himself to stop the urge to lock you up. My vision went black, and I barely steadied myself against the wall. Sister, where are you going? Hasey's voice sounded behind me, tinged with a note of hurt, like an abandoned puppy. I turned my head with difficulty, looking at his face, so innocent minus looking. Hasey, you. What on earth? He raised a finger to his lips, taking slow steps towards me. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting a soft, golden halo around him, but his eyes were pools of unfathomable darkness. He walked up to me, gently taking my wrist. His grip wasn't strong, yet I couldn't move a muscle. Sister, did you see something? He tilted his head, his eyes innocent and curious. Did you see those red words? My pupils contracted sharply. Don't be afraid. Hasey, I leaned close to my ear, his warm breath fanning my neck, raising goosebumps all over my skin. Those are the system's prompts. Here also, my perspective of you. He chuckled softly, his voice low and pleasant. Sister, do you think I'm scary? I gritted my teeth, trying desperately to shake off his hand, but my body was as weak as mud. Let go of me. No. Hasey's voice suddenly turned firm. He scooped me up in his arms, his movements gentle as if holding a fragile treasure. Sister, you're unwell. You need to rest. I struggled in terror, but it was futile. He carried me through the long hallway into my bedroom. The room was simply decorated white walls, white bed sheets, even the curtains were white. So clean it was, suffocating. Hasey laid me on the bed and tucked me in. He sat on the edge, his slender fingers gently stroking my cheek. Sister, you know what? I've waited for this day for a long time. He leaned down, his gaze so profound it was terrifying. Ever since I saw your file in the system, I knew you were my destined prey. I stared at him, wide-minded in horror. System? Yes. Hasey smiled, pulling a transparent plastic bag from his pocket. Inside were a few thin silver needles. These are a special sedative. They'll make you nice and obedient. He pinched my chin, forcing my mouth open. Be good, sister, take this, and it won't hurt any more. I shook my head frantically, tears streaming uncontrollably. Just then, a line of red text exploded in the air. Warning! Abnormal host behavior detected. Was blood triggered? Hasey's movements jerked to a halt. He frowned, looking at the floating text, his expression turning unpleasant. Damn, system? He cursed under his breath, then released my chin and stood up. Sister, you're quite lucky. He looked at me, a hint of unwillingness in his eyes. The system gave me a task. It wants me to make you dependent on me within 3 days. He smiled, a trace of madness in that smile. If I fail the task, I'll be punished. Sister, tell me. What do you think I should do? With that, he turned and walked out of the room, gently closing the door. I collapsed on the bed, gasping for air. The effects of the drug were slowly wearing off, but the fear in my heart only grew deeper. I grabbed my phone, wanting to call for help, only to find it had been turned off at some point. I tried the door. The handle didn't budge. It was locked. I leaned against the door, sliding down to the floor in despair. Then, I noticed a note slipped under the door crack. On it was a line of neat handwriting. Sister, dinner is ready. Remember to come out and eat. The signature was a small smiling face. With trembling hands, I picked up the note. Suddenly, I noticed a line of tiny characters on the back. It was written in red ink, the handwriting somewhat hurried. If you want to escape, go find Kainlu. But is he really your salvation? I froze. Kainlu, that man who kicked me out and called me a pervert? I let out a bitter laugh, crumpling the note into a ball. Now, who could I even trust? I got to my feet and walked to the window. Outside the window was a high wall, covered in climbing roses. Beyond the wall, a vast expanse of dark night. I looked outside and suddenly saw a dark figure flash by. It was a man in a black trench coat. He stood below the wall, looking up at my window. Though I couldn't see his face clearly, I could feel his gaze on me. Immediately after, a line of white text floated by. Don't be afraid. I'm here to save you. I am another host of the system. I was stunned. Who was this? Just as I was about to open the window to call for help, I heard footsteps outside the door. ACI. I quickly backed away a few steps, hiding behind the curtains. Sound of a doorknob turning. I held my breath, my heart pounding like thunder. The door opened. ACI walked in carrying a tray. On the tray was a bowl of steaming noodles. Sister, hungry? He placed the tray on the table, then turned to look at me. Why are you hiding behind the curtains? He smiled, a hint of inquiry in his eyes. Did you see someone? I bit my lips, saying nothing. Don't be afraid. ACI came to me, gently taking my hand. Sister, it's only me here. You are mine. He lowered his head and kissed the back of my hand. The cold touch made me shiver. Sister, eat the noodles. After you finish, we'll have some fun. Looking at his face, so exquisite it was almost demonic, I suddenly realized I might truly be unable to escape. And that dark figure outside the window, that man who claimed to be another host, who was he? I looked at the noodles on the table and suddenly noticed a few red petals floating in the soup. Were those the tour flowers? Immediately after, a line of red text floated by. Oh, don't eat that. It's a Hosame gun. My head snapped up, and I looked at PCI. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, casually playing with that bone-minus cleaver knife. The blade glinted coldly under the light. Sister, why aren't you eating? He smiled, a hint of expectation in his eyes. Is it that you don't like the flavor? Then, shall I get you something else? He stood up and walked towards me. Each step felt like it was treading on my heart. I grabbed the bowl of noodles from the table and flung it at him. The scalding hot soup splashed all over him. Duh! ACI cried out, stumbling back a few steps. Seizing the chance, I rushed for the door, yanking it open with all my might. The hallway was empty, lit only by dim, yellowish lights. I ran desperately towards the staircase. Behind me came PCI's icy voice. Sister, you can't escape. You are mine. I didn't look back, charging down the stairs. Just as I reached the ground floor, I crashed into a warm embrace. Don't be afraid. A familiar voice sounded above my head. I looked up and saw Kinlu's gloomy face. Kinlu? I stared at him, incredulous. How was he here? I received your distress signal. Kinlu held me tightly, a trace of lingering fear in his voice. I'm sorry, Jungruan. I shouldn't have treated you that way. I was stunned. Distress signal? When did I? Just then, a dark shadow rushed down the stairs. Let go of her. I held the bone-minus cleaver knife, his eyes wild. She is mine. Kinlu shielded me behind him, looking at him coldly. Who are you? Who am I? I smiled, a strange edge to his grin. I am her new master. He raised the knife and charged at us. Kinlu kicked a nearby chair aside, blocking PCI's path. Jungruan, run! He shouted at me. I hesitated for a moment, then turned and ran for the door. Just as I reached the entrance, I saw the man in the black trench coat standing there. It was the dark figure from outside the window earlier. Don't run. He blocked my way. Who are you? I stared at him in horror. I'm here to save you. He reached out, trying to grab my wrist. Just then, Kin Lu rushed over and punched the man in the face. Get lost. Kin Lu roared. The man staggered back a few steps, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Kin Lu, have you lost your mind? He wiped the blood from his lip, looking coldly at Kin Lu. I'm another host of the system. I'm here to help her. Kin Lu froze. The system? He turned to look at me. He was also at a loss. Immediately after, a line of white text floated by. Detected simultaneous presence of two hosts. System on the verge of collapse. Please make a choice. Choose Kin Lu. Return to normal life. Choose PCI. Enter an infinite loop. Choose the man in black. Unlock hidden plotline. Looking at the text in the air, I suddenly understood something. All of this, from the moment I got that rental call. From the moment I met PCI. Even from the moment I met Kin Lu. It was all a setup. A setup called the system. I looked at the three men before me. Kin Lu, PCI, the man in black. In their eyes, I saw the same madness, the same possessiveness. I suddenly laughed. I laughed until tears streamed down my face. I won't choose. I raised my head, looking at the text in the air. I choose myself. The text suddenly froze. Then, a line of huge red characters exploded. Warning, warning. Abnormal host rule detected. Ultimate punishment triggered. The game has only just begun. I looked at the three men before me and suddenly saw their figures begin to distort. Kin Lu's face became PCI's. PCI's face became the man in black's. The man in black's face became my own. I retreated in terror until my back hit the wall. Sister, you can't escape. Three voices overlapped, like whispers from hell. You are ours. I closed my eyes, waiting for the impending darkness. Just then, I felt someone take my hand. Warm and strong. I opened my eyes and saw a pair of clear eyes. It was a young man, dressed in a white shirt, standing in the sunlight. He looked at me and smiled. Sister, you're awake. I was stunned. Where was this? Immediately after, a line of green text floated by. Welcome to the novice village. Your new roommate is online. Please begin your infinite cycle. I looked at that young man. His smile was so clean, so harmless. Yet behind him, I saw countless women just like me. They stood in the shadows, their eyes empty. I suddenly realized this was not the end. It was the beginning. And that young man, he looked at me and said softly, Sister, my name is PCI. Please take care of me from now on. I looked at the hand he extended. That hand was pale and slender. Yet it made me feel a chill to the bone. Slowly, I reached out and grasped it. Hello, I said with a smile. My name is Jong Ruan. Nice to meet you. The game had only just begun.